We live? Okay, good. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for the City of Ojai Arts Commission. Bridget, would you please do our roll call?
Commissioner Steiner.
Here.
Commissioner Wright.
Present.
Microphone?
Sorry. Vice Chair Steiner.
Here.
Commissioner Wright.
Here.
Chair West.
Here.
Commissioner Grau.
Here.
Commissioner Tabak Bank.
Here.
Did I say that right?
Tabak.
How do I say it? Tabak. All right, good. Thank
So
you.
we
I'm
welcome,
used to it, though.
No, I want to say it right. Thank
we
you.
welcome our new commissioner with a
Thank you.
mispronunciation, but that's great. Let's pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. We, one change to the agendas, we will not be doing item liaison. Do you have a number? Item 1, I assume it was the only item, right?
Yeah.
Public Art Fund report, we'll move that to where appropriate, probably the next meeting. But we welcome the members of staff from the Finance Department here. Thank you for being here. So we're just pulling that from the agenda, period, or vote?
Both.
Vote. Second? I move that we pull that till we're prepared better.
Can you tell us why?
It just wasn't ready, in my opinion. We have a meeting set up to review Public Art Fund finances so that we can have monthly report. And the preliminary one, I didn't think was ready for commission to review it. I want to not waste your time.
I second.
Okay,
I second that.
thank you. Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Is that good enough? Okay, thank you. I have, presentation and then public comment, all right? Or to a presentation. So I'd like to introduce and welcome Bradley and introduce our speaker for the evening. It's an educational thing for us. It's Lisa Torosian, Lisa, who's going to guide us through the handbook that I think we received last year. They have that afterwards. That we had last year. And touch on some Brown Act things. So I'm glad that you're here tonight, and I'm glad that we're here. And it was.
Chair, do you want to have your public comment? You have a public comment before?
I had that after this for some reason.
But then that means she has to sit for an hour.
Yeah, you can move it if you want.
Do I have to vote on that?
No, you don't.
Okay. Bernadette, why don't we do you, and then you can sit through the Brown Act, which would be very interesting.
But you don't have to sit through it. That's why we're moving you up.
Oh, it's the big reveal.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Pretty cool.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Bernadette DiPietro. I'm a local artist, moved to Ojai in 1971, and I've been a part of the Ojai Studio Artists since they started the first tour in 1984. So we've been doing it for 42 years. And I'm here on behalf of the artists to thank you for the grant that we received, which helps our organization tremendously. The Ojai Studio Artists have given back to the community in so many ways, including scholarships every year. Last year we gave out $10,000 to high school students. And this year, we're hoping to give out $12,000. So, and this is money that's brought in from the tour that we put on every year from the ticket sales. So, as a thank you, we have a card for you all, and this is one of Gail Childress's, as a little thank you gift, one of Gail Childress's prints, and she was one of the starters, or that started the three women that started the Ojai Studio Tour in 1984. So we all want to thank you very much for the grant that we received, and we really appreciate having you here and supporting the arts. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to look, is it a fish? Right in the- Oh, that's the arcade, oh, okay.
So, Bernadette, the city has an art collection. This
Yes.
is called the City Art Collection. And so, in our next meeting, we can vote to accession that into the collection. So
Oh,
this
that's
is
great.
lovely of you to offer this to the city. Thank
Oh,
you.
the sign.
In the 1990s, I was on the Arts Commission and was a part of that, getting that established, in fact, the art, the art exhibits that were happening. And and you also, the city has a piece of my art as well in the collection.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Well, then maybe you do want to stay and listen to our presentation.
No,
Did-
it's
did you
okay.
have
I've
to-
been there.
You'll probably learn we
there,
have to
done that.
return it for some reason under the Brown Act, but
Thank you once again. We really appreciate your
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
thank you,
That's
Bernadette.
good. I'm glad she didn't have to sit there.
It was a donation to the city, and city-owned art, I think. And Lisa, we were, that was as good an introduction as you get. Are you going to sit there to do your presentation?
Yes, I'm going to sit right
Okay,
here.
and so we have some slides, which I think the public
Yes.
can see as well.
I will be sharing.
Are we ready in the back?
Until she actually
Yep.
shares it.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Tarosian. I'm a senior associate at Elishar and Winder. I'm happy to be with you here today to review the roles and responsibilities pertaining to your membership on the Arts Commission with the City of Ojai. In the interest of time, I will skip over some of the information contained in these slides, as you all have copies. If you have any questions, please save them for the end. Your questions may even be answered the further we delve in. So let's get started. That's on. As you know, a city's boards, committees, and commissions are a vital support system for any city, and the better they function, the better a city can serve its residents. That is why it is important for members of these groups to be well informed of their roles, responsibilities, and all applicable laws. Boards, commissions, and committees are established by the OMC. The current ones are the Planning Commission, Parks and Recreation Commission. Oh, it's a little, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll bring it on this side. Bring it on this side.
Actually, is this better? Okay. All right. Okay. Boards, commissions, and committees are established by the OMC. The current ones are the Planning Commission, the Parks and Recreation Commission, the Historic Preservation Commission, the Arts Commission, and the Buildings Appeals Board. There is also the Finance and Budget Committee. This committee is advisory to City Council and does not possess independent decision-making. Members are appointed by a committee composed of the mayor, a rotating City Council member, and the chair or vice chair. The nominating committee must reach a unanimous decision for each nominee to be confirmed by the City Council. If a majority of the full City Council declines to accept nominees proposed by a unanimous vote of the nominating committee, the nominating committee begins the process again and interviews candidates from the existing pool to select a new nominee until the City Council confirms the nominating committee's choices. Vacancies that are created midterm are filled in the same manner. Qualifications for members are described in the respective agencies' ordinances. To join a board, commission, or committee, you must take an oath and sometimes be required to submit a statement of economic interests. You will also be expected to participate in ethics training within a year of appointment and every 2 years. You may know this as the AB 1234 and AB 1825 trainings. However, recent legislation has changed the timelines for ethics training, which we will discuss later. You will also be expected to complete sexual harassment prevention training within 6 months of appointment and every 2 years as well. Members serve 4-year terms, and there are no exceptions except the Youth Commissioner of the Parks and Recreation Commission, who is limited to 1 2-year term. All committee members must also serve until their successor is appointed and qualified. Members serve at will and may be removed for any reason. Some examples of these reasons are excessive absences, verbal or physically abusive behavior, violations of ethics policies, violation of city policies, and conflicts of interest. Committee appointments are non-political appointments. There is a process and procedure for the removal of members. The first step in this process is that first 2 city council members advise the city manager of their intent to place an item on an upcoming agenda to consider the removal of a committee member. Then the city manager must contact the committee member to advise them of the request and to provide them with at least 7 days advance notice of the agendized city council discussion regarding their removal. The committee member can then choose to resign or object to the proposed action. If they choose to resign, 60 days notice is suggested to enable the identification and replacement of the member without causing a gap in that committee's membership. If they choose to object, they will be given an opportunity to speak at the next full city council agendized public meeting before consideration of their removal. After completing this process, any committee member may be removed by majority city council vote at the regular city council meeting. Each board, commission, or committee must elect a chair, vice chair, and secretary to serve a 1-year term. Committee members may nominate themselves or any other member to take those positions. No second is required. Once nominations are complete, a vote on the nominees in the order of nominations is taken. The nominee receiving votes from a majority of the members in attendance will be appointed. If no member receives a majority, the process shall be repeated except in the event of a tie between the 2 top vote getters, in which case a runoff will be held. Some boards, commissions, and committees function in a purely advisory role, while others also have decision-making responsibilities, functioning in a quasi-judicial or quasi-legislative role. All committees serve in an advisory role to City Council. An advisory role, for example, includes recommending changes to the OMC if the change is within the committee's jurisdiction. Both informal and formal means of communication may be used to fulfill this advisory role. Formally, committee recommendations related to city actions may be presented at City Council meetings as individual agenda items or action minutes. Other boards, commissions, and committees may also have decision-making responsibilities and function in a hearing mode from time to time, which is a quasi-judicial role. These responsibilities include the granting of permits and hearing of appeals. Some examples are the Historical Preservation Commission, the Planning Commission, and the Building Appeals Board. Recommendations to City Council are made through formal action, meaning by a motion and a vote, and sometimes the approval of a resolution. Committees may also perform additional duties assigned to it by City Council. Ad hoc committees may also perform additional duties that are assigned to it by City Council. Ad hoc committees may be formed by a committee vote to accomplish a specific goal within a given time frame. Ad hoc committee membership must be less than the quorum of the committee. Ad hoc committees are also expected to give regular reports on the progress of their specific goals.
Which part? Go ahead.
We're saving our questions.
Oh, you're saving them for that, okay.
Should we ask them now?
No.
You can save them for the end, and also the electronic copy that you all have will have all of my notes in it as well. So if you would like to see, if you want any of my talking points later, they're already memorialized in the presentation if you open it up on PowerPoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. Perfect.
I let her know in the back.
Yeah, the speaker
Can't
just turned
hear.
on, so we're hearing the,
Barely.
we may hear better if you maybe,
You want me to stand?
no, you can even move back from your mic and just speak louder, then we can.
Okay.
hear the table.
Go to the podium, either way. Are
Go ahead, just.
Okay, I will project. All right. Members are expected to review the agenda materials, attend meetings, participate in discussion, and vote on agenda items. If a member is unable to attend a meeting, they should notify the committee chair as soon as practical. Members of a committee shall attend in person unless arrangements are made in advance for attendance by teleconference. The chairperson presides over meetings, as well as has other responsibilities that are listed on this slide. As the chair appears on behalf of the committee when appearing before City Council, the chair may only speak on behalf of the committee on a topic where an action was approved by a vote of that committee. Each committee also has a City Council liaison who facilitates the committee's work and communicates information back to City Council. The council liaison does not participate in committee discussions. There are two types of meetings, regular and special. Regular meetings may be rescheduled with the posting of a cancellation notice and notification of a special meeting. Meetings may be canceled by either the chair or staff liaison. The reasons for cancellation should be sent to the council liaison, mayor, and city manager. Lack of a quorum of the majority of appointed members at a meeting requires meeting cancellation. Special meetings may be held at any time upon the call of the chair, a majority of committee members, or city council, followed by the appropriate notice. Special meetings may be called to meet deadlines, conduct study sessions, or workshops, or when a quorum was not met at a regular meeting. Serial meetings and the discussion of official business outside of a noticed public meeting is not allowed. Serial meetings are a violation of the Brown Act. A copy of the most recent version should have been sent to you already by the city clerk. Committee members are subject to FPPC investigation in the event complaints are filed regarding Brown Act violations. The combined effect of serial meetings may inappropriately be a meeting of a quorum of committee members. For example, if a member of a 7-member committee speaks to more than 2 other members, it may constitute a serial meeting. Inadvertent use of emails, like the careless use of the reply all function, can also result in a serial meeting. Engaging in a discussion of city business on social media can also result in a serial meeting. A quorum is a majority of members. There can be no meeting of the committee unless a quorum is present. If less than a quorum attends, any discussion by that group is characterized as a committee of the whole, but no record is made of this occurrence and no decisions can be made.
Can I interrupt, Lisa, just
Yes.
because you're using the word committee and commission
Interchangeably.
sometime. Okay, but we use commission for us, but we use committee for our ad hoc committees.
Okay,
So when you say committee, should we take that to mean anything about our ad hoc committees?
not necessarily for the ad hoc committees I'm talking about,
So we're going to treat, when you use the word
yes.
committee, as what we would.
boards, commissions,
as a
committees
commission.
interchangeably.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's,
We have
Yeah.
a budget, we have a budget committee. We have a budget committee, yeah, something like that. That's-
We have the public art committee, we have the grants committee,
we have juries,
committees
we
as
have
well?
juries, and
referring to the arts.
to commission, all right,
Yes,
good.
when I say commission, committee, board, I'm
It's just
referring to.
syntax for our ears
Oh,
here.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that note. I will actually add that. I was planning on adding that to my presentation, that I was using those words interchangeably. So thank you for that note. All right. All boards, commissions, and committee meetings are subject to the Ralph M. Brown Act, colloquially known as the Brown Act, which is found in the California Government Code. Under the Act, all meetings must be open and public. However, the Brown Act does not limit an official acting in his or her own capacity, meaning you still have the right to confer with your own constituents, advocates, consultants, talk to news reporters, or talk to staff or a colleague, but you must make sure you are not discussing official committee business to avoid a serial meeting. The use of direct communication, intermediaries, or technology to develop a collective concurrence outside of a meeting is also considered a serial meeting and therefore prohibited. The seriousness of serial meetings cannot be stressed enough. and the internet makes it much easier for members of a legislative body to communicate with each other and their constituents in ways that make it easier to have a serial meeting. To avoid this, a good social media rule is to not react, share, or comment on a post or comment by another member of that body. So, what is not a meeting? I know I just gave you a lot of instructions on what not to do to avoid having a serial meeting, but that should not discourage you from having individual communications or contacts with other members about non-committee matters. There is no prohibition on attending public conferences or other local agency meetings, community meetings, and social gatherings. Informal meetings with staff are also not a violation of the Brown Act. This slide is also just some additional information about social media communication that I discussed previously that you can review for additional guidance if you would like. The agenda constitutes the roadmap for the meeting. The format and sequence of a committee's agenda is discussed in detail in the handbook, and I would refer you to the handbook if you need additional details regarding the agenda for the Arts Commission. Committees are governed by Rosenberg's Rules of Order. Rosenberg's Rules of Order contain specific rules of conduct. Every member desiring to speak shall address the chair, and upon recognition by the chair, confine contributions to the matter at hand, avoiding all indecorous language and personal attacks, as well as tangential discussions of non-agendized items. A member may not interrupt the speaker except for the following reasons. The first is privilege. The proper interruption would be point of privilege. The chair would then ask the interrupter to state your points. Appropriate points of privilege relate to anything that would interfere with the normal comfort or application of the meeting. For example, if the room were too hot or too cold, or if the speaker wasn't working. Order. The proper interruption would be point of order. Again, the chair would ask the interrupter to state your point. Appropriate points of order relate to anything that would not be considered appropriate conduct of the meeting. For example, if the chair moved on to a vote on a motion that permits debate without allowing that debate. The third is appeal. If the chair makes a ruling that a member of the body disagrees with, a member may appeal the ruling of the chair. The proper interruption is, I appeal the ruling of the chair. If the motion is seconded and after debate, if it passes by a simple majority vote, then the ruling of the chair is deemed reversed. The fourth is to withdraw a motion. During debate and discussion of a motion, the maker of the motion on the floor at any time may interrupt the speaker to withdraw his or her motion from the floor. The motion is immediately deemed withdrawn, and any other member may make the motion once recognized. Other rules of testimony to keep in mind are that all comments should be addressed to the committee as a whole and not to individual members of the committee, members of the public, or staff. It is also helpful but not required for speakers to state their name in order that the secretary might identify them in the minutes of the meeting. The chair may limit public speakers to 3 minutes or less, depending on the number of speakers and length of agenda. The process of consideration and action on an item is handled within the following 4 steps. The first is presenting the item. The chair should announce the agenda item number and subject. The chair should then announce any special procedures to be followed. For example, if the item is a quasi-public judicial hearing. This is also when members would announce their conflicts of interest, if any, and recuse themselves from the vote and leave the room. The chair should then invite the appropriate people, typically city staff, to report on the item. The chair may provide an opportunity for committee members to ask clarifying questions to the person providing the report. This is not preferred, as questioning tends to segue into position statements before public input is taken, which is inconsistent with open meeting principles. The second is asking for public input. The chair opens the meeting to public input and may limit speakers' time, as discussed previously. A response to public comment, if appropriate, should not be provided until after public comments are finished. The third is the considering of the item. The chair then requests committee deliberation. Member deliberation would include questions of the person making the report or others with relevant knowledge, consideration of alternatives to the recommendation, additional considerations not previously stated, and other relevant facts and opinions. The fourth is deciding. The committee then decides by a motion and voting. If you need more information about the procedures that govern motions and voting, I would direct you to appendices B and C in the handbook for more detailed information. For all action items, the chair should invite a motion from the members. No motion is made if the agenda item is receive a report unless the committee wishes to address recommended actions contained within that report. Once a vote is taken, discussion on the item ends. For public hearings, there are additional guidelines. After receiving the staff report, the chair opens the public hearing and accepts testimony in the following order. First, the applicant or proponent speaks. Second, the opponent speaks. Third, a rebuttal and surrebuttal are allowed, but in the sole discretion of the committee. Fourth, public comment is heard, and then the chair will close the public hearing. Committees may take action in different ways, either formal or informal. Informal actions, meaning that no vote is required, generally take the form of the chair giving direction after input from other committee members. Informal actions would include requesting information from staff or suggesting that a committee member report on a future agenda topic. Formal actions are taken by establishing a quorum, considering a motion, and voting. Most actions require a vote by a majority of the appointed members unless a supermajority vote is required. All formal actions must be listed in the agenda and require a motion and a vote in the affirmative. Motions are the vehicles for taking formal actions. A motion should be introduced on a matter after general information is shared, options have been identified, and members share their opinions and seek to persuade. The chair shall ensure that all motions are clearly stated and commonly understood before allowing further deliberations and voting. Items may be continued by committee vote to a subsequent time for the following types of reasons. The committee requires additional information during the meeting. New information or issues come to light during the meeting and need further study. Other reasons that are deemed appropriate and substantial by that committee. In addition, a committee hearing, like the Planning Commission and the Building Appeals Board, may continue an item when the applicant cannot appear at the meeting and has requested that the item be continued. The application is revised by the applicant during the meeting, and the committee requests that the application be revised. Disrupting means engaging in behavior during a meeting that disrupts, disturbs, or impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. Prior to removing an individual, the chair shall warn the individual that their behavior is disrupting the meeting and that their failure to cease their behavior may result in their removal. The chair may then remove that individual if the behavior continues. If there has been a use of force or a true threat of force, there is no obligation for the chair to provide a warning to that individual before removing that individual from the meeting.
Does that apply to public or?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I would hope not. The public has a right to review and inspect public records with certain exceptions. Those exceptions are the pending litigation exception, which exempts documents prepared in support of ongoing litigation. The deliberative process exception, which exempts preliminary drafts, notes, or other information relating to the deliberative process. The personal privacy exemption, which exempts personnel files, medical records, and other such records, disclosure of which would constitute an invasion of privacy. Other records that are exempt are real estate appraisals, records pertaining to investigations, preliminary notes, drafts, or memos that are not kept in the ordinary course of business. If you need examples of what constitutes a public record, I will refer you to this slide. That middle paragraph right there explains what public records are. An agency must make copies of disclosable records promptly available upon request. An agency shall respond within 10 days with a determination if there are disclosable records and can request an extension of 14 days to request for unusual circumstances. A writing can be considered retained by the agency, even if that writing is retained in the employee's personal account, if that writing relates to the conducting of the agency's business. Therefore, it would be subject to disclosure under the Public Records Act. Privacy concerns are addressed on a case-by-case basis. That is why it is very important not to use any of your personal accounts when conducting official committee business. Committee members are representatives of the city, meaning they have a duty to represent the city and to take only those actions they believe are for the benefit of the city. Committee members are expected to comply with all applicable laws and have the ethical duties of loyalty, due diligence, and avoiding bias. Under the Levine Act, no member with the power to make decisions or recommendations may accept, solicit, or direct a contribution of over $500 while a proceeding, like a license, a permit, or other use entitlement, is pending before them from a participant party or their agents. This also applies for 12 months after a final decision is rendered. This only applies to committee members who are running for elected office. If a member has received a contribution of $500 within the preceding 12 months, that fact must be disclosed on the record of the proceedings before rendering any decision. If a member willfully or knowingly receives such a contribution within the preceding 12 months, the member may not participate in the decision-making of that proceeding or use their position to influence such decision. This requirement applies both to members that participate in proceedings as well as those running for office. We already discussed members' ethics and sexual harassment prevention training obligations. However, the new legislation, namely SB 827, amends the ethics training requirement deadline to align with that of the sexual harassment prevention training, so that all mandated trainings must now be completed within 6 months of starting service. Effective January 1st, 2026, SB 827 also expands the ethics training mandate to all department heads or other similar administrative officers, regardless of their designation in the agency's conflict of interest code. Certain members will also be required to complete fiscal and financial trainings every 2 years. SB 827 only exempts county auditors, county treasurers, and county tax collectors from the fiscal and financial trainings. SB 827 also expands records disclosable under the California Public Records Act to include fiscal and financial trainings, the records of which must also be maintained for 5 years. Also, starting July 1st, 2026, an agency must post on its website instructions and contact information regarding how to request those records. The city has a policy against using copyrighted works. The purpose of this policy is to protect the city from the legal and operational challenges associated with the use of copyrighted materials during public meetings. Best practice is not to use any of these materials at the meetings. If you need more information regarding this, please refer to the slide. Now we're segueing into the individual roles and responsibilities of the Art Commission. The Arts Commission serves an important role in the city of Ojai by encouraging the flow of art into the valley and stimulating art and cultural activities within the community. The Commission does this by making recommendations to City Council regarding art acquisitions, proposals for public artworks, and all other matters pertaining to arts for the city. Additionally, the Arts Commission maintains a website that is dedicated to local artists, special events, City Hall exhibits, and other projects that are related to art in the community. The objective of diving more in depth regarding your specific role on the Arts Commission is to familiarize you with the laws that govern your position, the procedures necessary to properly effectuate your position, and most importantly, the responsibilities specific to your role on this commission. The commission shall annually elect a chairperson, vice chairperson, and other officers deemed necessary, including a secretary who does not need to be a member of the commission. In the absence or disability of either the chairperson or vice chairperson, The commission may designate a chairperson pro tempore. Regular meetings of the commission shall be public and shall be held at least quarterly. Minutes of all the commissioners' meetings shall be kept, and the secretary of the commission will deliver copies to the city clerk for filing and distribution to the members of the city council within 15 days after the commission's approval. The commission follows the rules of order and procedures set forth in the city's boards and commissions handbook. In the absence of specific rules of conduct or procedures, Rosenberg's rules of order will apply. 3 members of the commission if there are 5 commissioners, or 4 members of the commission if there are 6 or 7 commissioners, shall constitute a quorum without regard to residency. I know you will be up to 6 soon. If council approves the filling of vacancy next week. A simple majority of the votes of a quorum as present shall be required to pass a motion. The Arts Commission's powers and duties are set forth in OMC Chapter 4-16.107. I am going to provide you with a broad overview of them. If you need further information regarding any of these points, I will refer you to the explanation in the slides, as well as the Ojai Municipal Code. The function and powers of the Art Commission are limited to advising City Council regarding matters pertaining to the arts in the community, making recommendations to City Council regarding the same, working cooperatively with the other city boards and commissions, to encourage partnerships for the arts and the flow of art into the city, to review and evaluate grant proposals, to carry out other necessary duties, to prepare and submit to City Council every 2 years a 5-year arts projects plan. Prior to submission, the Arts Commission shall review all ongoing and future capital improvement and development projects for public arts opportunities. You're also responsible for the public arts program, and you have several duties associated with the public arts program. The purpose of the public arts program is to enrich the built environment of the city. The public arts program, among other things, requires that the public art be included as part of certain private and public development projects in the city. Part of your roles and responsibilities as a member of the Arts Commission is to carry out those duties for the public art program. Some examples of projects that are exempt from the requirements of the program are nonprofit service projects, affordable housing developments, remodeling, repair, or reconstruction of structures to comply with earthquake safety codes. For a comprehensive list of projects that are exceptions, you can see OMC 4-16.205. The Arts Commission may waive the strict compliance in whole or in part in respect to any covered project otherwise subject to the requirements of the public arts program, and instead permit that responsible party to meet compliance by these 3 factors. The first one is the contribution of approved off-site public work, the donation of an approved artwork to the city art collection, or a monetary contribution to the public art fund. The Arts Commission may also waive the requirements for covered projects, which are also city projects, when it determines that it would be in the public interest to do so. When selecting a location for art, the final location should be subject to the approval of the Arts Commission. No final city approval, such as final inspection or a certificate of occupancy for any covered project, shall be granted or issued until full compliance is achieved in one of the following ways. The first one is the approved artwork has been placed in an approved on-site or off-site location in a manner satisfactory to the Arts Commission. The second is the donation of an approved artwork to the city art collection is made in a manner approved by the Arts Commission, or the public arts program allocation amount is credited to the public arts fund. When selecting a location for art, the final location shall be subject to the approval of the Arts Commission. Eligibility requirements for each project are also established by the Arts Commission. Specifically excluded are artworks created by students under the supervision of art instructors to satisfy course requirements and artists who are members of the Art Commission. The following criteria is considered in the selection of artwork: quality, media, style, environment, permanence, elements of design, diversity, limitation, and mural. More about each individual requirement can be found in OMC 4-16.210. In selecting artwork for private and public development, except when a public art jury has been called, the Committee to Approve Public Art, or CAPA, will recommend private and public development projects to the Arts Commission for final review and approval or disapproval. Additionally, the Community Development Director will review the artwork and its placement and landscaping elements and may refer the artwork to the Planning Commission for approval. The procedures governing the applications for placement and approval for inclusion of proposed artwork on private property will be considered by CAPA first, which will recommend approval or denial to the Arts Commission. The Arts Commission will then consider the recommendation before giving the final approval for the proposed project. The Community Development Director will also review the artwork and its placement in relation to architecture and landscaping elements and may refer the application further to the Planning Commission for design review approval. If significant revisions to the architecture or physical design and layout of the proposed project are made after the Commission's approval, the application, if legally permitted, will be returned to CAPA for further review and recommendation concerning the revised proposal prior to final approval by the Arts Commission. If the responsible party of the project has not applied for a building permit within 3 years of the date of the Arts Commission's approval of the project will be considered null and void, and the responsible party must resubmit a public art proposal to CAPA. All proposed donations of artwork will be considered by the Arts Commission. The Commission will determine when an issue has been addressed and recommend acceptance or rejection of the artwork to the City Council. And then the procedures for maintenance and conservation of artworks will also be established by the Arts Commission, as well as a maintenance schedule. And those are all your duties for the arts, the public arts program. Let me know if you have any questions. Now is the time.
Thank you, thank you. I'm sure we do. And it seems, okay, so the end where you gave the Arts Commission specifics, I think you were reading right from 416, is that right?
There, it's contained in 416.
Yeah, everything you were reading was in there, yeah.
Yes.
So we can, all and we're, yes.
Where is this 416? It's in the minutes of the
It's in the code.
Speaker, can you turn
Yeah,
on
we're
your microphone?
familiar, at least,
Make sure your microphones are on when you're speaking, sorry, so we can pick it up.
It's not.
so, you know, the first part of your presentation, my age shows, but we had Robert's Rules of Orders. But would that all be Rosenberg?
It's Rosenberg.
It's Rosenberg.
Yes, it's been Rosenberg's. Yeah.
Okay. I know it's been, but not in
Yeah.
high school debate class.
You're like close enough.
Okay, it's close enough. So thank you for that. That was actually, I want to make sure that we have specifics on that. I had some questions, but I was going to invite other commissioners. If you had some, or you want to hear from me first?
Yes, let's hear from you.
I'm curious how this is wonderful to have this because, and I'm glad you got on the agenda. I'm just curious, tonight there were just two things that got on the agenda without, and were put on the agenda for me. So I guess that's, does the manager or the council or have a way to put things on our agenda? I'm just curious.
Who was able to approve the agenda before it's posted, basically?
Okay, yeah, the attorney essentially, like, the city attorney will, anybody essentially can put, like, I'm sorry, it's the, as long as it makes the agenda before, like, the itemized time, any of the commission members, the city manager, anybody can put something on the agenda as long as it is publicly posted, as long as you follow the notice, the notice
Okay.
requirements.
Well,
is
why
what
was I learned from my predecessors, so we have some
Yes.
habits here, and I'm, 5 years in, so they're sort of, this is the way we do it here, but I was told that the chair sets the agenda, which was in your notes, or two commission members or
That
council
was for
people
the-
can petition.
That was for the removal of a commissioner.
Yeah, that's a very narrow.
Okay, that was
Yes.
just for that.
Yes.
So who can put things on my agenda, or, I mean, who can do that? Like, can the public do that? Can the?
No,
Okay.
no.
The mayor can't do that?
Essentially, if it's discussed and with the chair, then the chair can make a motion to put it on the
Okay,
agenda.
all right. all right, so it was probably just a little sloppy or oversight that.
I don't
wasn't
think it
involved in
was. I
this.
think it was,
And this was.
I do
yeah,
know this was
not
discussed
future.
about being in our February agenda
yes.
a while ago.
Okay, all right.
So that's why we put it on this one.
Mhm.
But the discussion item didn't go through you, so I'm gonna take a lot of blame for
Okay.
that.
No,
But that's what
I'm
he's
not trying to,
asking.
Okay.
I'm
That's what
really
he's
not
asking.
trying to point anything. I'm
No,
just
no, I know.
curious what can appear on our agenda
No,
without us
yeah,
knowing.
it just
Yeah.
it got posted without his review before.
So
and that-
ostensibly,
Yes,
I knew
okay.
I knew about it, right?
Okay.
I believe the rule is that the chair sets the agenda and that any two members of the commission can put something on the agenda as
I
well.
did. Well, I think I just heard no on that two-member thing.
No, that's not, no, when you said 2 members, I thought you were referring to the removal, the voting of the removal.
No,
of-
I was
okay.
referring to
Okay,
agenda
yes,
items.
yes.
Two members of the commission can put something on the agenda
Or
prior to,
Is it 2 members or is it a quorum? It's 2 members. It's just the number 2?
I believe it's 2.
yeah,
The number
Let me
2?
check.
Okay,
I believe it's 2.
okay,
Chair West, can I?
yes.
I don't understand this. So I'm learning this tonight, that if I wanted to just put something on the agenda that we have not discussed prior at our meetings, when we have on our agendas to discuss future agenda items, I could just go to City Hall with another arts commissioner
need
and say,
another
we want
commissioner.
these items on the agenda?
Or you go to me and then I would
No.
have to accept it, I think, is.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. You don't, essentially, the chair has to be involved. Like, you would go and yes.
So,
You,
We have the Brown Act aficionado here.
I mean, there's rules
I'm
and
going
then
to
there's
may I
protocol.
recognize Steve?
I have some other things that I'd like to say, with your permission.
Okay, do you want to can you hold them or do you want to do it now?
Happy to hold.
Okay,
Because it just seems like we have procedure here, that as a commission, we discuss what work we want to do. And we come to consensus about what will be our next agenda items. So I just want to understand clearly that if I decided for some rogue reason that I wanted to discuss something completely irrelevant, I would be allowed to add something to the agenda
If you had a second.
if I had a second,
If you-
regardless
right,
of the chair.
sure. You could bring it to me and I would have to.
I'd have to bring it to the chair.
Right.
yes.
Because I set the agenda, yeah.
Okay.
You got plans?
Yeah,
But you can't do it without the chair.
But that's
But
any
you elect
two
the chair.
members.
But you elect the chair.
They said any two members, so
All right.
just want to
Okay, no, that's,
make sure
I
that.
can't
important.
not put it on the agenda. I think we're good.
I mean, to clarify, this happens very seldom, right?
Yeah.
But it's in the instance where you're seeking to override the view of the chair because you don't agree, and that means that he can't be the bottleneck. It's just
That doesn't happen here.
language, but it doesn't happen with us, correct?
We got 3 lawyers at the table, so
Okay,
this is
also-
going to maybe get in the dirt, and I act like one sometimes. Committee, commission, you answered that. Oh, the serial meetings. You mentioned it during a serial meeting, the proper response was just be silent? If something's occurring, if anyone's exposed to a quorum or a serial meeting violation, I think you said the proper response was to just sit.
I believe what you're referring to is a social media policy about not, it's best policy to just not comment on another.
I don't think it's specific about social media, it's just that was an example of a serial.
Yes, so, a lot of things can constitute a serial meeting. Let's say that you wouldn't necessarily think about, like, using the reply all function, let's say.
Yeah.
Just like that.
We got all that, but let's just say a
Uh-huh.
commissioner's in a position where they say, oh, I'm the 3rd one here out of 5. Do they have a responsibility to take some action, like report it, or are they just supposed to zip their mouth, or?
So as long as you don't talk about official committee business, there can be a quorum of you hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's fine, as long as you don't speak about, what makes it a serial meeting is if you're discussing actual agendized items or things you know will appear on the agenda in the future. So if you're doing something that violates essentially the Brown Act, the open meeting policy, where you're excluding the public from actually
Yes.
participating, that's what we considered a serial meeting, not
But
necessarily
what would be
just-
the responsibility? If you got dragged before court one day, you know, and you had
Yeah,
to prove
so-
that you keep your mouth shut?
mean,
Or
yeah,
do you
there-
have to tell someone, do you have to tattletale? I mean, I'm just trying to understand what the responsibility of a commissioner is.
Yeah, so
'Cause
if-
these occur
if
a
you-
lot,
If
yeah.
you know that a serial meeting is happening, then you should definitely
We usually just go, Brown Act, Brown Act.
yes. So it's not essentially stop, try and end the discussion
Mm-hmm.
entirely. And if you feel like anything essentially happened, or let's say like a consensus happened, or something happened to where you think that,
Yeah, yeah.
then you should definitely report it
To,
you can either talk to the attorney. I would talk to the city attorney first to see what the
Okay.
what the proper what the proper avenue is to do that.
great.
Yeah.
Because we get all smart, but we need practically what to,
Yeah.
So, are you sure? I mean, I'm not sure we can individually go to the city attorney, would we instead?
No,
go
you would
to
have to go through
Manager?
what I believe is
Go through
either
our
the
liaison.
liaison or the
Right.
manager is
Yeah,
who I
'cause
believe
don't-
is.
Okay, I just want to be clear, we
Yes.
don't go to the city attorney.
Yes,
Correct.
You can always contact me through the staff liaison.
sure, that's good. But that's something that does occur, or almost occurs, or a lot.
Yes.
And so I want to make sure everyone's,
I've learned there's a buffer between me and every.
It does not occur.
Yeah.
well, we're good
Chair
at
West?
catching it, but I didn't know if.
Yes.
Chair, we,
Yes,
w-
Corinne.
I have a question regarding the reply all. We have been reprimanded in the past for replying all on, a simple invitation, something that was not agendized, something that was not official business, and accused of violating the Brown Act. So are there exceptions to the reply all that don't constitute a violation of the Brown Act? Or is it always, no matter what?
I understand why there's chastising about using the reply all button. Again, it's best practice
Best practices,
to not do it. But essentially, if you can show that you weren't conducting any official business, that's always an exception to that. You know, if it's an invitation, it doesn't have to do with.
Right. I think we can all use our professional and
Yes.
judgments as to that. And I understand we get these best practices things, you know.
Yeah.
The copyright one was one of them that we've taken issue with. We've had presentations from the public in here that want to present original
Yeah.
works
Yes.
of music or something on this, and we've been told that we can't do
No.
that.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's not the
Original,
law, that's just best
self-composed.
practice in the,
Self-composed?
self-composed. Unless you had that person's kind of explicit permission, I could see how you could run into issues on.
They're the people presenting it.
So I actually
They can,
wanted.
but do we have their permission? Let's say is it tenuous? Like
I'm saying
they
they're
can revoke
present.
their.
They're actually present.
Yes, but then they can be like, well, I had no idea it was going to be televised. I had
Fair
no
enough.
idea that it was going to end up here, there, the other place. And then it becomes, I don't want it there. I own this work. I don't want to share it with people. And then it becomes, your duplication. And then,
Well,
now I'm going to sue the city.
No,
So
in our case, that's not the situation. I mean, we're a very different kind of commission because we do work with creators. And so while we agree with what you note on page 26 of your presentation about prohibiting the use of copyrighted materials, and certainly we fully agree because we would not want in any circumstance to infringe someone's copyright. However, the instance that we're talking about is where the individual creator, him or herself, appears before us to present in connection with, say, a grant application, where we ask our creators to come and speak with us so we can get a sense of what they do for grant purposes. And we will have a musician who asserts in advance that this is their own original content, therefore copyrighted to them, and they want to present it. Now, what we have been told, recently, and our last city attorney said he would look into it and try to get us an answer, which didn't happen. Previously, we were able to have those creators present that material. Or another example is the Ojai Film Society, where they expressly licensed trailers that they used for their advertising purposes, and that they were going to present pursuant to the license to us during the grants presentation. In both those circumstances, our IT people forbade us from showing that. And the alleged reason was because YouTube would have,
Yeah.
quote, taken it down. That said, and this is the piece where the last city attorney was going to address it but dropped the ball, and perhaps your office can pick that up again, or you can speak with city council, and we have a representative here about picking that up again. What we know is there are ways around the city, the YouTube issue. Advance notice, sort of clearance, all of that stuff. We want to do whatever we can to make those
Yeah.
arrangements in advance so that our creators can best
Showcase their
showcase their
Yes.
creativity.
Understood. And actually, what I was going to say is I believe the wrinkle is probably the third party hosting. I'm sure if the city were able to kind of host it on their own website.
Well, there's got to be a way around.
Well, I
mean,
think
it's
it's
a-
not an
if I
agenda
may,
item.
please,
We can't discuss it
Yeah.
unless it's answering a question.
you-
It is kind of, it's answering the copyright question, let's say. But yeah, I'll look, you know what, let's table
Let's
this.
look
I think this
into
is a
it,
very
please.
interesting point, but that's something definitely that you can get in touch with our office through Bridget, and we'll definitely
Okay.
flesh that out
Because
more.
It's a technological problem,
Yes.
so it's got to have a technological solution.
I agree with
And I
you.
know we can get there. Okay, great.
And furthermore, it just goes against the entire functionality of the Arts Commission.
Yeah.
If we can't have original artworks
Arts.
presented here because we are filming this and putting up it online, we need to look at that, because people have to be able to show us their audio and visual
Good.
material.
Well, we have this as a future
Solution.
agenda item,
Yes.
and we don't want to discuss it
And
now.
I would,
But we can prep the attorney's
attorney,
office
yeah.
to know that it's coming
Very
again.
interesting, but there has to be, I agree with you, there has to be a way to circumvent the.
I think it comes under the fair use doctrine.
Yes, the fair use, but,
No, it's different
it's
from,
not, yeah,
it's not fair use.
is
I mean,
for
Well,
more
it's,
so.
isn't it fair use if we show it as in a hearing here? If we show the piece here, fair use with regard to our discussions with regard to that.
Maybe not. I
Okay,
mean,
now I think
fair,
we're
yeah, we're
delving
getting
into-
too
yeah,
far.
now
Too many
we're- now we're-
lawyers in the room.
Yeah, now we're delving into,
Fair use is actually what I've been writing about and speaking about for decades. It
Well, then you're
isn't
the expert, I'm
precise.
not.
Yeah, it isn't precisely fair use, but we'll address all of it comprehensively.
Yeah.
What,
And I know let me say that the IT response has been that or the manager's office response was that the IT department is looking, this is not a issue that just Ojai has. This
Sure.
is something going on all the way up the
Yeah,
food
I
chain.
think so.
And they're looking at some technological solutions to this so that that can happen. That's a political answer anyway. so.
I've differentiated,
Yeah.
if three members of the commission go to a concert and they sit together and they talk about, I really love that guy, love that piece. One of them says, well, I didn't love the piece. That's fine. If they start talking, do we want this guy in the future? I liked him, do we want him in the future? Then you've violated the Brown Act. It's a simple
Because
distinction.
that is coming up, because that's coming up.
Chair
Okay,
West, I had two specific questions.
yes, please,
Okay.
go ahead.
You mentioned in your presentation that the creation of ad hoc committees for commission should not exceed the number of commissioners.
the quorum of commissioners.
Okay, the
Yeah.
quorum of commissioners, very good. And also, you said that a commissioner cannot receive a gift over $500. Does
Cannot.
that mean we can receive a gift for $99?
If you essentially get that kind of gift over $500, then there's certain things that if you're elected if you are, let's say, running for office, then you cannot participate without disclosing that conflict of interest. And for people who are either for both elected and non-elected officials, you will not be able to participate in a decision-making capacity as far as an application or any kind of like a permit application, anything that has to do with that person who you solicited or give to do that money. You just can't have any kind of
If it's over $500.
if it's over $500, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
can I follow up, Karina? What happens a lot here is we get offers of tickets
Right.
from our artists. And so we just always feel funny, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have any
accept
suggestions
free
on that?
tickets to performances. As a best practice, we don't,
No, I'm sorry. As
huh?
a best practice, no.
Right?
Yeah, because those tickets are, I could see how that it would rack up to more than, let's say they offered you 1 pair, 2 pairs, that could be over $500 very easily.
No, we're talking $20.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
No, I still would avoid it for in a process. It just looks inappropriate, if that makes sense. It would,
Sounds like lawyer
yeah.
advice. Lawyer
I'm
advice.
sorry, best practice always
There's
is.
a law, but
It's
you'll
not
be safe by
fun.
doing
Best
this.
practice
you
is
know?
not
I mean, do you see
Stay at
how
home.
contradictory that is? We
Yes,
can accept
yes.
$500 gift, but we can't accept
A contribution, a solicitation, they have to put a number, but I mean, best
$20
practice is to
movie ticket.
not do it at all, you know?
Right, all
But
right.
yeah, if it has to be less than 500.
This
if
is
you
the
wanna-
creative
yes,
economy now. We're
yes.
gonna figure this
I
out.
was gonna
Technically.
say,
Corinne?
it seems counterintuitive because you want us to go out and see
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going on in town artistically, and
Buy your ticket, buy the ticket
Buy
to
a
see
ticket.
the artist, and that way you can support the local artists as well.
That's
Did
been
you have
my
something
view,
else,
you
Corinne?
just buy the ticket.
Buy the ticket, yeah. It's better for the artists anyways, I believe.
Are you done, Commissioner Wright?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
good. I was going to recognize Steve Quillicky, our clerk, who had some comments. You want to come up to here?
Your name is Harry?
My first name? Yeah,
Your name is Harry.
it is.
Thank you, Chair.
So-
I'm speaking partly with my city clerk hat on, partly with a year's experience on the BAB and 8 years on the Planning Commission. So I have some practical notes to supplement what your city attorney has told you. First of all, the Arts Commission, like most of the others, all of its decisions are subject to appeal to the City Council and overrule. The BAB, unless they've changed the state law since I was on the BAB, it is unique under state law that its decisions are not appealable to the City Council. There can be litigation to attempt to overthrow a decision of the BAB, but the City Council cannot. There was a discussion of,
What
I'm
is
sorry?
BAB?
Oh, the Building Appeals Board.
Oh, okay, thank you.
It has a very narrow focus, that is to deal with appeals of decisions by the city building official, and, as we used to say in the military, ODA, other duties as assigned. If the city council says to you, or says to the BAB, I want you to go look at something and come back to us, then they have that as well. But other than that, they just deal with appeals.
Sure,
of
our
the city
decisions that affect other departments are usually planning, but it ends up, it gets the Arts Commission approval, and then it flows through the planning process, like on the
We've never
public
done
art or mural ordinance, that sort of thing.
Right, and so some of that may get back through the planning commission again because it deals with land use or some such.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay,
Or taxes.
Much does not, though.
Much
is
does
original
not.
to
Our
us.
grants, are
Exactly.
that go to council, and they specifically vote on them. Well,
However, we have original and sole jurisdiction over certain aspects of public art, as well as over the mural jury in its entirety.
that's right.
So, but those are narrow, so I agree with everything you said, but for those narrow exceptions.
right.
There's
In
going,
addition, with regard to public art, unless the rules have changed since November of '24, when I left the planning commission, there is a planning commissioner on Kappa.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay,
And we're very happy about that.
yeah, good, good. There's a good group of people there. They keep changing. It's changed a lot since I was there. Okay, something that may have practical value for any of you, and this is with regard to remote or virtual attendance at Art Commission's meetings. If you are ill and you don't want to spread the joy to the rest of the commissioners by coming into this room, there are under, I think it's AB 2449 and 2302, I think are the numbers. There are a limited number of opportunities for you to attend virtually for good cause or for medical emergency. There's a limited number per year that you can do that. On the other hand, if you know ahead of time, for example, that you're going to be out of town, but you wish to participate, if you notify the chair and your liaison who creates the agenda for the meeting that you are going to be somewhere else, then the agenda, properly publicized before the meeting, can list an alternate venue for the Arts Commission meeting. That being wherever you're going to be when you want to call in and participate. I did this a number of times when I was on the Planning Commission. And when I was chair and I'd call in, the vice chair would run the meeting, but I would participate as a member. So you need to publicize where you are. You need to post a copy of the agenda at that place. And you need, when you call in, to reveal whether there's anyone over the age of 18 present with you, and the public is invited to join you at that venue. So a lot of restrictions on it, but if you're out of town and you still want to participate, there are ways to do it, given enough time before the meeting.
But you can't just zoom in, right?
No.
You can zoom in, but
it's-
if you
it
do
has to
that,
be-
you
invite the
can't
public to your-
participate as a commissioner.
Got it.
That is, you cannot deliberate, you cannot vote.
So you have to be in a public space.
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
I've done it from the home of either my son or daughter.
Best,
And as long as I posted the agenda
the
and
manager.
invited the public in, it's legal. No, I posted the agenda next to the front door and took a picture of it, sent that to liaison, so they knew that I was doing that properly. Okay, that's remote and virtual. Your attorney mentioned ad hoc committees, which you can do anytime you want. You can also, with the permission of the city council, establish standing committees. That is, permanent committees of this commission, but it takes permission from the city council. In the Planning Commission, we had a Complete Streets Committee, which has been in existence for a number of years.
Are they selected by the commissions, or would they be?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes. You select it, and once again, you cannot have a quorum of the commission on that standing committee, just like on an ad hoc committee.
Uh-huh. And are ad hoc or standing committee meetings run by Brown Act too, like need to be public?
My understanding is the standing committees, for sure, have to be publicly noticed. I'm not sure about ad hoc committees.
Okay.
The-
We've got.
Your attorney will advise you on that.
Yeah, I'm sort of split here. I just,
So the rules still, like, serial meetings and things like that, all those rules still apply essentially.
yeah, okay.
The topic of serial meetings came up. The way we were given advice was, you can talk with one other member, but if you then call a second member of your commission, you're discussing the same topic, and you say to that second member, well, member one that I spoke with expressed this opinion, what do you think? Then you've established a serial meeting, even if it did not involve a quorum of the commission. So be very careful about that. If you want to do, if you want to get information out to all of the other commissioners, just like don't use the reply all, send something to Bridget and say, please disseminate this to the rest of the commission. That way, because it's a communication from you to city staff and then back to commissioners, it has become a public record.
Just
And,
to add
and the
something.
thing to keep in mind with overall the Brown Act, the idea is do the public's business in public. So you can get together at, you know, a staff appreciation dinner or a commission appreciation dinner. That's not the public if you are deliberating an issue that is under the jurisdiction of this commission.
Got it. And that with the people being sovereign, ultimately, it has to, there's only 2 people in this room right now who are elected by the people.
That's
So
true, too.
ultimately, that's where the decision has to, that's why, because where the decision is made at the council point is
Well,
where the
even
people have selected.
The public's business includes the things that you do, even if there's no elected official in the room. This is the public's business, and so you need to do it where the public is invited, whether they show up or not, and where, in this case, they're filming it and taping it, so that the public has access to what you have done. That's doing the public's business in public. Let me see, the public records requests. My understanding of the law, and your attorney may correct me on this, the 10 days or with extension to 24 days to respond to a public records request is to establish whether there are appropriate records that are disclosable in response to that request. It is not for the actual disclosure, which may take longer.
Let me give you more information. So within 10 days, you have to respond either affirmatively or unaffirmatively that you have found records or records fit are within the description that is being asked by the requester.
This is staff usually, right?
Yeah, yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah,
would
this
be
is the
city
clerk's-
clerk.
this
would
is
be
the
clerk
clerk's
stuff.
office.
This is the clerk stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So then 10 days after, you have 14 more days to respond essentially with either you can give them the documents within that 14 days after, or you can request additional time given a number of extenuating circumstances. Let's say it's taking you a lot longer to go to different departments to look for the documents that are being searched, that are being asked for, or let's say it's voluminous files, it's taking you a lot longer to go through them, or let's say you're redacting them, it's taking longer. So you can essentially punt the ball down the line, but you essentially have to continue to make contacts with the requester, letting them know when to expect those documents on or before on a rolling basis, let's say.
Right. You're still doing the public's business in public, and that is disclosing whether there are records and when you
Yeah, well,
expect
practically
to
what happens
disclose
with
them.
the Arts Commission, maybe give us some guidance here, is that like with me, I know like the media the press will call and say, oh, blah, blah, blah is going on. And I usually try to just direct them to
Yes.
my liaison, rather than provide that information myself. I mean, who knows, I may have,
Well,
is that,
honestly, the appropriate party would be the city clerk making a formal Public Records Act request through
Got
the,
it.
I believe there's just be a portal on the website that has you just. that's
Public
the
records
appropriate-
Okay.
requests are one of the biggest things we do, other than working election law.
And the city does have a public records request portal, so if anybody's requesting records, just direct them to that
would be the
portal.
way to.
uh-huh.
and
That's
then-
another one of my tasks
Like
that
the
I do to
newspaper
help
always
out the city
says,
clerk's
I know how
office,
to get
so,
that, yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
yeah.
The portal's really a good thing,
I might use it.
because if you
You can.
send in a request, I think you have to establish an account.
Budget, the public arts fund?
So you establish yourself as connected to the portal, and then if you put in a public records request, it will be tracked automatically. You will get a response that your request was received. You will, and then the machinery will keep track of that 10-day or 24-day or whatever, and make sure that the clerk's office and the rest of city staff is doing things appropriately. The last thing I thought about was the 2 members. at least the way we did it on the planning commission, and I think the way they do it on the city council, is that any two members of the body can ask to have something agendized at a future meeting. You don't do it, it doesn't matter if four of you or all of you want to add something to tonight's agenda and discuss it and vote on it. You can't do that because the public did not have
Notice.
access to that agenda
Yeah.
before the meeting. If they had, they might have come and made public comment. But two of you can go to the chair and say, I want to put this on a future agenda, and he can't say no.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
Aside from myself, is staff able to put an item on an agenda without going through the chair first?
I don't know the legality of that. What I know is that a week before any of the planning commission meetings, and I was chair most of the 8 years that I was on the commission, Lucas would call me the week before the meeting, that is prior to the agenda being posted for the public, and say, this is what I'm thinking of putting on the agenda. Is that okay? Is there anything else you want? You would be reasonable in expecting the same sort of treatment, I think.
Sure, and just for knowledge, especially for Bradley, I meet with our liaison, Bridget, 2 weeks before our meeting just to work on the agenda, and we try to tie that up by a week before so that it can be advertised. So if when you see the meeting coming up this week, it's too late really to put something on, because we have the standing meeting too.
Once the agenda is posted and the public is aware of it, you can't go changing it. Yeah, you can't go adding to it.
Okay,
You can
and-
always continue an issue.
And Lisa and Steve, well, there's special meetings now. We had an old bad habit, like when people couldn't make it, we'd move it to another thing, and it became a special meeting. But we've been told that there's some restrictions of what can be done at a special meeting.
Yes. So if you don't receive, let's say there's no quorum, you can move that to a special meeting. If there needs to be a workshop or if there's a emergency item, you can have a special meeting.
But you're not allowed to do other business. You can only do that. I was told
Yes.
you can only, you can't just have like your regular meeting type stuff.
Yes,
At that
exactly.
meeting.
Exactly.
Okay,
It has to be, for a specific reason. And then just to kind of piggyback off of, I was going to add an additional point to the serial meetings. He's right. So there are several different kinds of serial meetings. I didn't get into the nitty gritty. There's like daisy chain serial meetings. There's spoken wheel ones, and that's kind of what he was explaining as well. So one person, let's say not three of you or whatever the quorum is, but one person can act as the in-between, the go-between between those
Right.
people and create a
spoke wheel,
consensus
yeah.
by telling each and every other person what, let's say, the people they spoke to said before that. So
right.
just as another example.
How are you going to vote on this?
Yes,
Just-
yes. So-and-so told me they're going to do this and that, what are you going to do? So,
Yeah, we're good.
If you do that, you're deliberating the public's business out of the public's
Sure.
view.
We got that.
Okay. That's all I
Thank
have
you.
right now.
Thank you
but-
so much, and a pleasure to have you here,
and,
clerk.
I will be calling you because I need a couple more pieces of information.
And
Fine.
Thank you all.
thank you.
thank you for
I hope this was helpful.
getting it. Oh, it's so useful. There's probably a way to, just like professionals have continuing education, to keep this stuff top of mind.
Yeah.
Probably the best is when council is a great example of it, I guess. 'Cause we watch.
You're in the last MCLE group, so you know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh my gosh.
5 credits, I just finished. Thank you, we'll be picking up the copyright discussion. Thank you for
Thank you.
inviting that.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
And then if you have any questions for me or if you want to pick up what we were speaking about, please reach out to me through the staff liaison and they will get you in touch with me.
That happened, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Chair.
And we could probably, yes.
The next item would be public comments, and Ida in the back has the computer. Can I just ask if there's any public comments on Zoom?
Because we don't have a discussion item now,
Right.
so.
Right.
Are we past
Is
that,
there,
though?
well, this was a presentation item, so now we're going on to public comment.
Okay.
Ida, is there any public comments on Zoom?
No.
Okay, go for it.
Thank you. Oh, I see. Even if we move if we cancel the item, there could be public comments. Nice. Very good. Well, I'm going to be more disruptive at council meetings from here on out, I think. All right, Commissioner Steiner, do you have any updates on public
Wait,
art?
are you gonna,
Commissioner
the
reports.
consent items, we haven't voted?
Oh,
on
I'm
it.
sorry, we have to go back and pick that up. Yes. We have consent calendar, which are minutes for 2 meetings, December 16th and the 15th. Have you guys had a chance to look at that? I'm going to make a motion to accept those, or accept the consent item calendar.
I'll second.
Thank you. Do you guys need any time?
Nope.
Okay. Thank our secretary, Commissioner Karina, for her beautiful organization.
Beautiful minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Is that good? Okay. Commissioner Steiner, Public Art, what do you have for us? Anything?
Yes, so you will recall, we are organizing a mural jury. I'll wait for Bridget's staff liaison update on where we stand with that, but that's the only matter before the Public Art Commission before the Public Art Committee at the moment. I will note, though, that I gave our commission report to City Council in their last meeting, and I noted that we will be bringing Big Red Roller to their attention for the budget costs that will be involved in conservation and maintenance of that work.
Any questions for Commissioner Steiner? Commissioner Pam, what are you up to?
Well, we had the enrichment seminar, I think it was January 18th. Colleen, it was very successful, well-attended. I think we had about 35 people. I've got a email list created from that event, and I filmed it, but I don't know what to do with that because I can't, do I post it? Do I share it? It's a big file, but it was recorded, and that was my question. It's
Send
like,
it to
Do you know how
Bridget.
to send it through like Dropbox or
you
anything
know,
like
it's
that?
too big for, well, I guess I could put it on Dropbox.
Yeah, I can pick it
Yeah.
up there easy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it end up on
Anyhow,
Channel
we'll
10 or
figure out
something.
if-
I gave it a copy to Colleen, and she was pleased. Again, we got a really good turnout, really good, lots of enthusiasm from the museum and from all the attendees, so it was very successful.
And that check is ready for her to go out tomorrow.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
All right, any questions for Pam?
And this is not our final comments, this is just our reports, correct?
So if you have a report, you can, no, we'll
Okay,
do
that's a
final
report.
comments
Okay,
on
good.
telling us about the whatever's going on. Commissioner Wright, grants, I know we have I don't know if you have anything for us, but we have a planning for busy March, I know. No? No. Okay. All right.
No report. I pretty much summarized it last month in pretty big detail, still
All right.
following that pathway.
I want to publicly thank Commissioner Leeds for his service here, and
May I ask a question on,
Yes.
so is Commissioner Tabak
Payback.
Tabak Bank going to be doing communication in city council so they can,
We'll talk about that in the future. We're
Okay.
gonna,
all right, just making sure how I update this part for next agenda.
yeah, great. But I just wanted to I'll save that, but well, since you put his name in here, I'm thinking about David. He sends his best. I saw him at our Valentine's concert recently, and welcome again to Commissioner Bradley, and we'll look forward to giving you something to report about next time. You'll have a chance to have a few
Forward to it
comments.
as well.
All right. What I can bring you up to date on is a couple things. Strategic planning, staff is working on advertising the role of meeting coordinator, what's it called? Mediator.
Facilitator.
Facilitator of our strategic planning, because it has to be announced publicly. I know she's working on that. We brought a new commissioner on. That's just great. I know there's another one in the works. We had our meeting, three-way meeting Carolyn Wagner, and I think she's going to be presented to the council at the 29th, 24th meeting.
24th, yeah.
I had an interesting meeting with Chamber of Commerce, who has kind of latched onto this idea of the creative economy. And so they're doing a breakfast luncheon at the beginning of March, and we got David Yoshitomi is going to come up for that. I'll make sure you all get invited to that. We're all speaking the same language. We have Mayor Pro Tem. Are you still Mayor Pro Tem? No, council person. Councilperson Rachel is going to be the keynote speaker at this breakfast, and I think it's a good. So, and there's new leadership over at the chamber, and that's part of our strategic plan is to connect with the chamber when it makes sense, and nothing like when there's new leadership to try to extend our mission there too. I think that's all I have there. Future agenda items, we have been carrying the ones from the past forward. Anybody else have something to add? We hope to be able to schedule that strategic planning as soon as we go through the process of the facilitator.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
With regard to a future agenda item. I'd like to, are the presentations at Libby Bowl within our purview at all?
They have not been.
Do they belong there?
Of course they do. If you heard from 416
We think
tonight
so.
that absolutely anything pertaining to the arts in the Valley Council is, our job is to advise council on that, but it just, it's a great future agenda item if that's what you're suggesting.
I would like to put that on the agenda because, quite frankly, I personally am very upset about the cost of going to things at Libby Bowl and the fact that they're not marketed here in Ojai but in Los Angeles, and I think we are not doing our locals service at all.
Well, let's absolutely put that on a future agenda item.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I agree, I think it's important, and it
We've
is
discussed it.
clearly within our purview, yeah.
That's,
Chair West, I know I brought this up at the January 15 meeting, but that I want to figure out how the Arts Commission can be in charge of the Ojai Day poster.
yes, good.
It's with the recreation right now.
Let's put that on an agenda item, and,
And it should,
like one year they just called us and all too. But again, it's another thing I think that
I'd like to see the
it's
arts.
within our
com-
purview, and so if we're
Should
not involved,
involved
I
in
think it
this.
should be the action of council to tell us you're not involved in this rather than how can you help us? So we'll
Yeah, just,
might be able to handle that offline, but we'll see what happens. So thank you, we got that.
Actually, I'd like to add something too.
Please.
There's this conflict in town where the Ojai Studio Artist Tour, which is in October, has a banner for the last 42 years that goes across the highway the weekend of their tour. We bring in 1,500 people to town, and the Ojai Day banner is now up. The last 2 years, we have not been able to get that date, even though we submit before even the time is needed to get that, but they get priority because it's
Yeah.
a city, but it's the following weekend. But
Let's-
because that is up,
Let's put that on the items. I know this came up last year, and we tried to handle it outside of meeting. Maybe we need to do it in public here.
What's
and,
the organization's name again? I'm sorry.
the Ojai
the
Studio
banner on
Artist Tour.
the Ojai Studio Artist Tour banner on the
It's
street.
just when so many people are coming to Ojai for that, and then they see Ojai Day, they get very confused about where is it, how do you do it?
Yeah. Last year, we tried to just handle it with, we'll see, but yes, let's get it
they
on
should
the item.
change the date of Ojai Day.
Well, I
We
already went
won't-
down to Public
We won't
Works.
discuss it now, but we've recorded it, thank you, Pam. Anything else?
Bring your gripes public.
A lot of these things we suggest for public meetings in the future, we kind of, it helps solve them other ways too. So thank you for those. Staff liaison report, liaison Brigitte. What do you
Hello.
have for us?
So I have a couple things. First, James wanted me to mention that he does have commission email addresses. This keeps everything like a public record in case you're not using your private emails. He's gonna give you some training on how to use those city email addresses shortly, but he wanted me just to throw it out there and mention it to you that all commissioners, James Hahn, all commissioners will have their, a city email address so that you would communicate through instead of your personal, okay? Just to follow up on the grants, I have been making sure everybody's gotten their grants, and we have reissued grants where the check is either lost in the mail or locked in a mailbox.
Right.
So I still have a few people who have not, I have to keep following up with, but I won't stop until I get an answer from everybody, just so you know. The mural jury, the city is wanting to have the jury here instead of offsite because we can't really do the filming and stuff. So I want to set that date here, and I know that the Pixies store wants to get it done this month. So is there any dates that you guys, that the mural jury, Christine, that would
Before
would
we
prefer?
get to the date, and I can certainly send you dates, I mean, I'll make myself as available as possible. However, we have held mural juries only 2 times since the mural ordinance was in existence. In both cases, we held that on-site and filmed on-site. Is there a specific reason that cannot continue to happen?
The clerk's office asked that we have it in the chamber, so that's why, because and then IT is saying that they don't really have a way to film it offsite except for with a cell phone. So that is why I'm bringing it up. Also, we're having weather right now, so
Here's a
I
suggestion.
know that Pixies is anxious. to
Can
get
you,
it.
given the fact that this is an artistic and a presentation and it's about the beautification of the city and that sort of thing, there's tremendous value to being, to see the wall that the painting's hanging on. So
What the
I
public
would like
will-
suggestions as to how we can accomplish both. Maybe
Right.
there's a way that we have a field trip that goes from there and comes back to
Come
here
back
or
here.
something.
Yeah, because I'm thinking the public's not going to be able to.
We need to be there.
I chair the committee, I chair the jury. I am telling you that we have done it on-site 2 different times. It hasn't been a burden. I don't think we can schlep over there and take sort of a jury view, as it were. It's not difficult to set it up. I've seen it done, so I know it can be done. I'm pleased to work with your IT people to sort of review with them how it was done before and why it can happen again in
Okay.
the same way. Because I agree with Smitty that nothing substitutes for looking at that wall itself and for the jury looking at it together.
Okay.
It is a very different thing to be sitting here.
Okay,
And I think we owe that to our applicant.
okay,
But talk to manager or staff and
right,
say you're getting pushback, but it seems like for a good reason,
okay.
and see what they suggest. It's
That
like
is all
It's like
I-
listening to music, but you just get to look at the notation on the paper.
Just a
or,
really
you know,
quick thing on the Brown Act stuff and the emails. That's why I'm always BCCing you all and only copying the chair, so that if you do reply, it's me, the chair, and you, and not all. So that's why you see it like that. Just throwing that out there.
So Bridget, on the jury, the jurors are very busy people. You're going to have to give them a wide swath of
Yeah,
potential
if you can
times.
provide me some dates that you would, then I can start. That's a
Do it-
good
I'll do
starting
it
part.
be-
I know she really wants
do
to
it
get this
this
done
evening.
before the end of February, so
Yeah,
I'm hoping
and
we
we
can
don't
do it.
blame her.
That's 1
We
week
want
from
that
now.
to happen, yeah.
Okay, I'm just worried about the rain too, because I don't know when the rains are stopping.
Well, I'll check Weather
Okay,
Underground
good.
and keep
Thank
you posted.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, Lisa, this is like one of those, it's a good example of one of those things where in the arts, I mean, the arts are about creating places for experiences and that are temporal and location-based as well. And so, you know, it's not the Magna Carta where a bunch of guys yelling at each other in a room, you know, it really is a judgment of your commissioners and being able to, so we either, it can't be in public, maybe there's a way parts don't have to be in public or something, or maybe there's a way that you can accommodate, but thank you, I think that's a good direction. Anything more?
I'm done, sorry.
I didn't see, council liaison.
Yes.
Oh, we do have council liaison. It just says Andy Whitman. Do you have anything for us?
I apologize. I will fix that.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm not Andy Whitman. I think that's a typo, actually. So I just have, first of all, I just wanted to second what Smitty said, the invitation to come to the March 4th breakfast with the Chamber. I've been working with Carla and Smitty to see how we can support our arts community more, and especially anyone who's doing art as a business. And so this is going to be hopefully the first in other conversations that we have that are open to the public. And there was one last month, or earlier this month, that was really well attended, talking just about the economic situation in Ventura County. And so we invite you all to join us. And then we do plan on bringing forward a commissioner, and provided that there is council approval, there should be a 6th one coming soon. And the final thing that I had to add is that I was up in Sacramento last month, and I had some really great meetings with California for the Arts. And I'm going to be working with meeting with their local hub here. And so hopefully we can facilitate some collaborations, see if we can get more resources, and connect Ojai with what's happening in the county and in the state. So that's my report. Thank you all so much.
What time is the breakfast?
The breakfast is at 8:30. It's at the Ojai Retreat over on Besant Road.
Okay,
Yeah,
walk there. Yeah.
great.
And what day is that?
It's March 4th, Wednesday, March 4th. Yeah. Yeah.
8:30 a.m.
And we may be able to get your Shitomi for, I'm trying to work it into maybe a gathering along the lines, Pamela, of what you're setting up there. We'll see how long we can keep them up here. David Yoshitomi, for you, Bradley, is the County Arts and Culture Director for Ventura County. And he's a friend of all of us, and he's a big promoter of the creative economy.
And speaking of friends of ours, thank you, Rachel, for your outreach in the arts arena. It really matters to us, so thank you.
Thank you. It matters to the whole community. It matters to me personally, and I want to do everything we can to support our artists here and the way that art allows for our whole community to flourish. So thank you.
Thank you. I sat with Rachel and the mayor in the interview room, and I was listening to them talking about the creative economy and the arts and the vibrancy, and I was just able to sit there with my mouth shut. I felt very, very proud of what our commission has done to educate council on how, you know, this is the future of not just the arts, but just of the economy of our valley. So thank you for that. Let's move on to commissioner comments.
If I may
Please
start.
volunteer, yes.
Only because I want to piggyback off what you said. While I do think the creative economy is very important, and it's good that we have been focusing on that, I do not want us to forget the creative non-economy. That is the creators, the non-commercial aspect of what we do. So in a way, we've been kind of bandying about this term, and I agree that economic drivers do matter, but I don't want us to lose focus on what is ever so much bigger. It's much of what Pam does, for example, that it isn't commercially, it's another big part of what we do.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Yes, please.
Great, because I'm piggybacking off of you. March 14th is the first of the second Saturday art tours, which are open art studios. It's the Arbolata Miners Oaks neighborhood. The second Saturday, the Ojai Studio Artists' second Saturdays are curated by neighborhoods for 5 months. And so 10 artists will open their studios for visits, and people can see their process. And again, it's about exposing the public to what it is to be an artist and how that works. There's something else
Thank
I
you.
wanted to say too, but
Would you like to say something, Bradley?
I'm just listening to all that's
Okay.
going on.
At the end of the meetings,
It's
we just
filling
have-
my calendar.
Sometimes this is a good time to say things that are on the calendar. Karina?
I second all that. I do want to
All in favor?
bring up an issue that I'm glad Councilmember Lang is here for. Tonight, we had a audiovisual presentation by the city attorney. For the past 9 months, we have not been allowed to have audiovisuals here for anybody else's presentations. And I'm hoping somehow we can solve this, because it's a real shortcoming for our guests who come and tell us about their organizations and the artists who want to show us their work, that we have not had the support of the city to have audio visuals available to us during our meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just gonna add to that a little bit. I'm the only staff liaison that doesn't have a second person in the back. Tonight, we do have Ida, thank you, Ida, helping us out, but I am the only person.
That
does
seems very solvable.
And that
Thank you.
shouldn't be, especially for a commission that is so visual and audio.
So I would just want to thank everybody and welcome Bradley. Very excited. I look forward to seating another commissioner and then hitting into our strategic planning, where we could take fresh new ideas from some new commissioners. We can take a new look at our 5-year plan and take stock of what we've accomplished, take stock of what is pushed forward, take stock of maybe some things that need to come off or some new things that need to go on there. So I look forward, and I think we have both a nice mix of institutional knowledge here and communication with our with council and with the county and with the state, and our new commissioners will bring even more kind of independent and new ideas that we hadn't even thought of as well. I'm excited about this connection with the Chamber of Commerce and hoping this takes off, and seeing David. I will say, in Commissioner Steiner, in response a little bit to your notification, that when the CEO of the chamber asked me, well, what are some takeaways? What are we going to look in this meeting? What does it look like when the businesses take note of the arts? And because we've been operating from a plan, I was able to say we need to invest in grants, because that empowers our economy directly and the fastest, and it's the language of government. I think we can do better than just hand out to hands that are out, but that's sort of where a great starting point. Education, both for artists to make their jobs better, make them feel more secure so they can create more, and mentor programs for our youth so they can see what their future is in terms of that. And that's an economy builder and an artist supporter as well. So, and then public art is the actual spaces that we create and the beauty that we create in our community. And this just falls in line with everything that communities like Ojai are striving to do things that are inclusive, to do things that are in touch with nature, do things that reach people we haven't reached before, and to bring people together to have discussions around creations, whether they be statues or video games or movies or poems, dance, music, fine art. So I look forward to, but thank you for that note that it's the principles of what is art that are what people remember thousands of years from now, you know. But I'm just thinking of Egypt, and we're left with their art, no matter what they had to say about how they voted, you know, so.
Where can I get a copy of the existing 5-year plan?
From me, just ask for it.
Okay, I'm asking for it.
Okay. It's what we were looking, I'll give you access online
Tell
to
me how to-
that chart.
Yeah, just tell
yes.
me how to get it. and I'll
You got it, absolutely. With that, I'm going to adjourn this meeting, and thank you all for your enthusiasm and your service to our community. See you next time.